speaking with residents here over the past 2 years, one of the things that they tell us, the News Nation, is that they want a federal disaster declaration so that federal funds can come in so that they can get Medicare and they can get long-term health monitoring. I know the previous governor, has asked for this. When I spoke with you last year, you asked President Biden to sign this. Will the Trump administration declare a disaster here so people can get these resources that they need?
Yeah, so the long-term health monitoring, by the way, is something that we're very focused on, and I'm personally very focused on. It's something my Senate office worked a great deal on, and frankly was very disappointed that the Biden administration wasn't willing to meet us halfway there. We're going to do a lot there, and I think there's a lot that could be done. On the disaster declaration, it's an interesting question, because a disaster declaration may have been very helpful 18 months ago. I don't know that it's still helpful today. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the governor behind me. I'm going to talk to Lee about this, and I'm going to say, is a disaster declaration still helpful? Because if the answer is yes, then I'm going to take that message back to Washington. But the answer may well be no, right? Because we're not in the same phase of this thing now that we were 2 years ago. Thank God for that. We're going to do right by the community. That answer may not be the same as it was 18 months ago, but we're still going to work at it.
Mr. Vice President, in talking to locals as we have the last 2 years, many of them say that they're now worse off than they were before.
Yes.
They're closing their businesses, selling their businesses. What can you tell them now in this forum that they're going to hear at some point in the next 24 hours that leaves them thinking this is not just more lip service that they have heard for the last 2 years?
So I guess what I'd ask him is, first of all, you're right. A lot of people in East Palestine have dealt with unspeakable tragedy and then economic calamity on top of that. I've talked to a lot of local businesses just here today who have lost customers, who feel like the bottom line is a lot worse than it was before this disaster happened, and that's local retailers, that's oil and gas businesses. But I guess what I'd ask them is, don't give up on this community, because we're not going to give up on this community. And it's not always going to be easy, and I'm not going to be able to take away the 2 years of economic pain that have been caused by this train disaster, but you do now have a government that cares about you, that's going to work on these problems, and isn't going to snap its fingers and fix everything, because that's not how any of this works, but is going to fight every single day to make sure you get the infrastructure, the redevelopment aid, and certainly the health and environmental aid that you need to get back on your feet. I really do believe that if we work this the right way, that if the federal government, the state government, the EPA administrator, and the people on the ground are willing to work for this community, then we're going to do better by East Palestine than we have over the last couple of years. That's certainly my commitment to this community.